back to the channel, guys. We're seeing the killer. Don't forget that ghost. We got the Fast and the Furious, just Fast and Furious video, pretty much. Explaining why, how the whole brother thing came up. Because I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of confusing. Like, how this nigga have a whole brother and we never know about it out of the whole franchise of the freaking movies. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications. Notification gang. You feel me? And if you want to see the video by yourself, the link will be in the description. Anyway, let's hop into it.
We're 9 feature-length films deep into the Fast and Furious franchise, and we're just now meeting the brother of Dom and Mia Toretto. But since Jacob Toretto is being played by John Cena, he's probably been there the whole time. We just haven't been able to see him. Let's take a look at who his character is, and how his actions might affect the rest of the Fast family. Considering how much everyone else sticks together, there has to be a big reason why Jacob doesn't get along with his siblings. It's no secret that Dom Toretto is a pretty important part of the Fast franchise. After all, he wasn't in Too Fast, Too Furious, and we all know how great that movie was. If you're not overly familiar with the character, you'll need to know that there are a few things Dom loves. Besides his love of fast cars, big stacks of money, and living his life with a flagrant disregard for the law, he also loves his family. There's his sister Mia, of course, but Dom considers his closest friends to be family as well, which makes the fact that he has a surprise brother such a stunning thing to retcon. It's such a huge omission that it makes Han secretly surviving Tokyo Drift seem like an afterthought. Something big must have happened between Jacob and the rest of the family to explain his absence over the years. After all, Dom was able to befriend Brian O'Connor even though he started out as an undercover officer tasked with bringing him down. I'm not gonna go over the whole Fast and Furious timeline, mostly because I just covered that in another video, but keep in mind that F9 takes place a few years after the Fate of the Furious. In the trailer, you can see that Dom's son Brian is much more grown up than the last time we saw him as a little baby boy. We also see that Dom and Letty are seemingly living a quiet life now, but obviously it's not going to stay that way for long thanks to the introduction of Jacob into the Fast and Furious franchise. John Cena's character is described as a master thief, assassin, and a high-performance driver. Dom and Mia are definitely no strangers to stealing or driving recklessly, but being an assassin is definitely next level. Could his career choice have something to do with his apparent estrangement from his siblings? In between all of the action sequences, we've learned quite a few things about the Toretto family. Namely, that prior to the events of the Fast and the Furious, Dom's father passed away during a stock car race. Witnessing this event was obviously very traumatic for a young Dom, but not enough to convince him not to drive as fast and recklessly as possible. Not only did Dom lose his father, but he was forced to step up and help take care of his younger sister Mia. He's also acted as a father figure to his non-biological family members, and inspires trust in the people he works with. Dom has always been about putting the family first, and is protective of his family, especially Mia. So it doesn't seem likely that Dom would simply abandon his brother Jacob. If anything, it would make more sense if Jacob was the one to turn his back on his family. After losing his father, Dom reacted with rage and attacked the person he had been racing. This led to a stint in Juvie Hall, and while Mia and Dom were able to stay close, it's possible that helped kick off the estrangement with Jacob. Maybe at one point, Jacob looked up to Dom as his big brother, and turned to him for guidance after the loss of his father. But instead of sticking around, Dom ended up detained, and a young Jacob could have easily felt abandoned. Being stubborn is pretty much a Toretto family trait, so it seems safe to assume that Jacob is pretty stuck in his ways. If he felt abandoned by Dom, then it's likely he doesn't share the same feelings about the importance of family. And if Jacob is determined to be an enemy of Dom, then it's only natural that he would be against Mia too, since they're so close. It's possible that this is a simple case of sibling alienation following the tragic loss of a father. But this is the Fast and Furious franchise we're talking about here. Would it really be that surprising if there was some kind of massive incident between Jacob and Dom that led to their estrangement? After all, not being especially close with your sibling is one thing, but plotting with someone like Cypher to bring them down is quite another. Whatever Jacob is angry at Dom about has to be serious. F9 director Justin Lin claims that up until now the series has explored the relationships between these non-related characters, and now it's time to delve deeper into the Toretto bloodline. Apparently, Michael Rooker, who plays Buddy, said that the worst fights he's ever seen happened at weddings and funerals, and this inspired Lin to explore biological family ties. In the trailer, Dom refers to Jacob as his little brother, and Letty confirms that he's Dom's brother. But what about Mia? Is it possible that Dom and Jacob share a biological father but were born to different mothers? If so, this could explain why we haven't heard about him up until now, and why he has such a, let's say, strained relationship with Dom. We all know Dom is big on not giving up on family, so it seems like this feud almost has to be two-sided at this point. It's clear that Jacob got crossed off of Dom's Christmas card list for a reason, and given his feelings towards family, it was most likely something big. Dom is rarely on the right side of the law, but being an outright assassin seems way too far for him to go. But Jacob clearly has no problem with it. It's possible that prior to their estrangement, Jacob went too far and saw violence as a solution more often than not. If Dom won't even let people eat barbecue if they skip church, you can probably imagine how well he would have taken his own brother openly defying him. In the trailer, Letty gives little Brian Dom's necklace to protect him against what's coming, but it's not clear what exactly he needs protection from. It could be the insidious Cypher who once blackmailed Dom, or maybe she's concerned about the threat posed by her brother-in-law Jacob. It's clear that Cypher is out to get Dom, but what's less obvious is why. In fact, despite the fact that we've seen her plenty of times, we don't actually know much about her and her motivations. We don't even know her real name. Is it possible that she and Jacob are connected somehow? They definitely have something in common, and that is a desire to take down Dom. Obviously, Cypher and Jacob are in cahoots with one another, but we don't know the details of their plan quite yet. It seems like they both have a serious grudge against Dom, which doesn't bode well for the Fast family. After all, Cypher managed to blackmail Dom and destroy Brian's mother Elena all on her own. And now she has the help of an assassin who's also Dom's brother. Things definitely aren't looking good for our favorite street racer right about now. Cypher and Jacob teaming up against Dom is definitely exciting, but even more surprising is Mia coming back. She was romantically involved with Dom's former friend Brian, but his character was retired after real-life actor Paul Walker suddenly passed away in an accident. So in Furious 7, Brian and Mia supposedly retired and lived happily ever after with their children. The fact that Jacob's appearance is bringing Mia out of retirement and forcing the studio to explain away Brian's absence is definitely intriguing. It's clear that Jacob is going to be a major character, and his relationship with his siblings will be at the forefront of the story. If Jacob is making connections with people like Cypher, then it's likely he's been working mostly alone. After all, assassin isn't really a job which involves interacting with coworkers, and the new people he does meet don't survive if he does his job right. We do see him working with some other people to attack an underground bunker set up by Dom and his crew, but that doesn't mean they hang out with each other on their off hours. It'll be interesting to see if Jacob has any close friends of his own, or if he really is a lone wolf, and thus the complete opposite of his brother. Everyone in the Fast family credits Dom with keeping them together and helping them out when things are bad, but that goes both ways. Dom's always had people to rely on during challenging moments in his life. If he didn't have that support, it's possible he could have turned out very differently. Jacob could be a cautionary tale of what it's like to go through life forming few friendships and refusing to rely on anyone but yourself. Sure, it might help you with your career as an assassin, but it won't make you a well-rounded individual. This antagonist could very well give us some insight into what Dom might have been like if things were different. And he wasn't able to form the bonds with other people he has now. And if we're going to get crazy in F9 with Han being alive and Dom having a secret brother, then maybe what we know about Dom's past is even more suspect than we once thought. Is it possible that it was actually Jacob who attacked Kenny Linder out of anger for what happened to his father? If his little brother did something like that, wouldn't it be just like Dom to cover for him and take the punishment instead? Instead of feeling appreciative, this could have easily caused Jacob to feel resentment, because his brother didn't let him deal with things his own way. It's possible that even Mia doesn't know the whole truth about what happened during that attack. Another lingering question after watching the F9 trailer is, did Jacob leave the family of his own volition, or did Dom force him to leave? It's hard to imagine what Jacob could have done to get Dom to turn on him, but it's entirely possible. Maybe he thought that Jacob's violent tendencies could endanger Mia and everyone else, so he did what he felt he had to. Basically, I just want to know who hates the other person more at this point, Dom or Jacob. There's definitely no love lost between them in the trailer, and I just want to know why. Yeah, huge over-the-top fights and explosions are fun, but I love a good dose of family drama, as long as it's not my own family. And at its core, all the films in the Fast and Furious franchise are about this family, and how they've managed to stick together despite the crazy situations they find themselves in over the years. Will Dom be able to work through whatever's going on between him and Jacob, or will he fail to make peace with this member of his biological family? What do you think about the way the Fast
Bruh, just seeing my nigga Han come back just make me smile, bruh. I miss the nigga, no homo type, but I miss the nigga, bruh. Like, I can't wait for it to come out. Ooh. But bruh, you can tell John Cena's getting old, but I don't know how old he is, but you can tell that nigga old, bruh. Who else? It was somebody else. Oh, bruh, I ain't gonna lie. It probably wouldn't have felt the same if Paul Walker brother was to play Paul Walker. But I ain't gonna lie, I would have liked it for him to, try it. And if he ain't look right, then, don't do it. I'm pretty sure Paul Walker would have been happy about that. Like, he carrying on his legacy or whatever. But that was the end of the video, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notification game. You already know what it is. And we you already said it. I already said if you want to watch it by yourself, subscribe. Alright.